I convene the July 19, 2023 board meeting to order at 7 p.m. Chris, please call the roll.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Here.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Karen Larson.
Here.
Joshua Martin.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Emily Swistek.
Here.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comment. Seeing no one here, any emails, Director? Thank you very much. Move to item number 3, that acknowledges that Treasurer Larson and Trustee Brehan reviewed the June billings in July, and that Vice President Swistek and Trustee Martin will review the July billings in August. Agenda item 4 is the consent agenda. Is there a trustee who wishes to pull something from the consent agenda? Anyone? If not, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Chris, roll call.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Joshua Martin.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Emily Swistek.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye, thank you. Agenda item 5, unfinished business. 5A, capital improvement project monthly project status update.
Mouthful. Yeah. We're close, yeah. Except we can get that off your normal agenda soon here. Obviously, you've got the report. We're getting closer and closer as we get through this. Will's been taking care of a lot of the coordination of getting people in early so they actually get things done here. They keep on requesting that Will gets here at 7:30. He's been doing humans work trying to get that coordinated. On that note, the lighting controls are finally arrived. So they are going to be coming over the next, I'd say, 1 to 2 weeks. I'm saying 2 just to put a little buffer on. They're starting tomorrow, I know, but I just don't trust that it's all being done. Yeah. Within the next week is what they've said to us, but again, let them get here and put it all together and make sure it works. That's why 1 to 2 weeks. But we should have light controls, which is fantastic news. They also poked their signage contractor to get them back out here for the books, the book return sign. There's a few other things I kind of walked through about a week and a half ago and took notes on everything that I think is still missing on signage. We sent that over to them. Hopefully when they come back for the book return, they bring it all out. I know that we're trying to get, and you guys did get the permit for the south lighting. I need to chase the electrician a little bit on that to get them out here for the south lighting. But other than that, we're now starting to kind of get the last little bits are these lighting pieces, the AV still out there, and then any of the little added pieces we wanted to do, such as some of the adult service desk, added cabinet faces, which are in manufacturing now, and little electrical tweaks and things like that. So we're close. That being the case, the biggest update I have on the project cost summary is that we're starting to see some of the reductions this month because we did finally negotiate the last remaining change orders for Camosi. As far as I know, and as far as Camosi knows, there are no remaining change orders for Camosi with the update we'll give you in a moment. And because of that, we were able to reduce what we were holding in building construction, that line item E200.1. We were also able to reduce a little bit with the FF and E, some things that we didn't need to, we had allocated funds for certain things that didn't need to be paid for. So we brought that down. And so we're now we have an increased owner contingency of 116,000 right now. Some of that might get tweaked a little bit if we add a couple more things, such as we're still trying to figure out through the owner side of that ceiling. We're getting some contractors kind of not knowing what to do. But those are these small dollar values, nothing major. So we're right around there.
Can I say something regarding the signage? Another thing I just want the board to be aware of is that we're trying to get the signage as fast as possible, obviously, for patron use, but also what we'd like to do is, and I know that the architects also want to take pictures. We want to take pictures of the library where all the signs are and in the correct spots. What I'd also like to do is have a kind of a 360. Have you ever seen like those real estate sites where you've got 360 tours? We're working with a vendor, well, not working with yet, but I'm in communication with a vendor who does those for a very good price. So that's why I want to really push to get these signs in so that we can do something like that so patrons can do a 360 virtual tour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Flipping to page 2 of my report, you can see the invoices that were this past month, not too much in Camosi because we're just holding retainage right now. We will begin to release retainage on contractors and subcontractors who are completely done with their work. So if we've got all their closeout documents, all the warranty information, at that point, you typically go down to 0% retainage on those subs while you still hold it on the others. So that'll start happening over the next couple of months. Change order update, again, you can see these are no new change orders. These are the last remaining ones. We negotiated about a 50% reduction on the 3 that were remaining that we couldn't substantiate, completely that they were okay. So the one was number 50. We took a look at it. And the reason why that was approved is because even if we got the concrete in about a month earlier than we hoped, you still would have had, we looked at all the daily weather chart, and you'd still be below freezing overnight. You'd have to protect the concrete. So that one we let go as part of an overall settlement on the other 3. So hopefully that's the last change order for Camosi, and we're actually done now. We just have to final bill them. Any questions?
The railings.
Handrails?
Mhm.
So I looked at that actually. Will and Tatiana had sent emails, I want to say late last week or mid last week. I looked at it again today after all the rain we had last week. There are spot pieces right now.
Mhm.
We did send the pictures over there, but they wanted to wait and see how it really came out over the last week. There still are spot things. So I don't know if it's going to justify in their eyes, not ours, replacing the whole thing, or if they're going to come out and just take care of the spots. So we'll continue to monitor that.
How long do we have in terms of?
We have a
like-
year warranty
Okay.
The date of installation.
from substantial completion. So they were installed back in December, the late December, and substantial completion though didn't occur until I want to say April 13th. Don't quote me on that yet.
Well, if they come out and spot clean again, and then we're
Mhm.
seeing something in another month, I mean, I think that we know.
Yeah.
Yep. They have about a year, and at that point, we have a year too to say, no, this is not acceptable, and we're not going to accept it, and we will be holding that money on them the whole way through.
A year from December or April?
The date of substantial completion, which I believe is April 13th, is when you'd have. I'll
And we're
double
not,
check that.
we're holding back funds
Yes.
for payment until.
I have another question, Mark.
Mhm.
In youth services, on the end of one of those shelving units, that piece is like, it's taped on right now. Whose responsibility is that to
The
cover?
furniture vendor.
Okay,
So they know, and actually, I think next month is when they're bringing out some of the tops that were not. They brought out what they thought were all the right tops. Some of them were mismeasured, so they had to recut what they had to recut the first time.
Okay.
So this is their second round back out.
okay. But I'm talking about like that piece that's like flapping off.
Flapping
of it.
off,
Yeah.
yes, that's taped. I think
Yeah.
there's been 3 or 4 of those, I want to say.
Yeah, we found several others.
So but it's the vendor and they're gonna replace it and
Yes.
fix it and everything. It's not on our end.
It's basically glued on, and they'll have to re-glue it essentially.
Okay, thank you.
I know this is a nit and I probably should have sent Tatiana an email about it, but on the outside of the birch room, if you're on the outside looking in and you're looking at the lower left-hand corner of the window, the trim around it, there's actually a spot that didn't get painted. And it'd be the lower left-hand spot. It's really, about as long as your finger.
Okay,
So-
we have paint that
Okay.
has been left over from the project, and if it's something that's easily, our guys can
It is, but it's just, if
Yeah.
you didn't know it, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see it, but
take care. Thank you.
Can you refresh my memory too about the carpeting as far as like stain resistant stuff? I mean, there's a new stain, downstairs in adult services. Did you see that?
No,
Oh, did you see it? Will?
Which one?
The one, there's that large one that's like right downstairs. It's like near, there's those center shelving pieces. And then it's like, so like it's where if you are walking past, you're coming this way, you're walking past those center shelving things. And then gallery 777 is on your left. It's all there.
Oh, it's probably from the.
I'm assuming it's from the event,
Yeah.
but it's dark and it's large and it's kind of splattered, like it dripped over and stuff. I was here the other day and I took pictures of it, but
shockingly, I don't have the stain resistance memorized for that
so
one.
I just was
So
curious because I'm wondering, oh my gosh, it's brand new
Yeah.
carpet. Are we going to be able to?
It is commercial grade and it is a pattern. So worst case scenario, when we've got a lot of attic stock, we can look at getting some pieces replaced,
Okay.
but it also can be typically cleaned. So
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if it was like we had special like treatment on it or whatever. Like, I mean, I know we talked about concerns in youth services about spills and stuff, but I
It's the
couldn't
same
remember.
carpeting, so,
Yeah.
I think that they tried to treat it, but
Okay.
we'll look at it again and see if we need to replace the carpeting.
Yeah,
Aren't they
it's,
the strips or
They're
whatever?
they're square.
Yeah.
yeah,
we
it's
can-
it's multiple pieces,
If
but
it's.
Yeah.
Is it in that condition, we're using it like.
We'll try again.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, it was like Friday, maybe last Friday, maybe I was here.
That was the event day, yes.
Or Saturday. Well, no,
It was probably Saturday.
maybe it was
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
The day after, maybe.
Anyone else?
Yep.
Great.
No. All right, these are getting
Thanks,
quicker and
Mark.
quicker.
That's
Yeah, of
good.
course. No. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Of course.
Thank you.
Agenda item 6, committee reports. The library has not had any committee meetings since we've appointed new members. So if there aren't any comments from any of the committee, we can advance forward. Okay with everyone? Great. Agenda item 7, staff reports. Director Weinstein, please.
Okay, and as you read in my report, I hope, Summer Read is roaring along. We have close to 1,400 people registered as of today. And in the report, we also mentioned some popular titles out there, and you can see that even Harry Potter still has a leg to stand on, even in this day and age. It's very popular. Under staffing, I will now publicly announce that we've hired John Ferrari as the new Youth Services Director, and he's very happy. He's jumped into his position very smoothly. I'm very excited about his new position. He and I are currently interviewing for his replacement as he was the Assistant Director, so that's happening this week. And also with the turn of the fiscal year, I'm not sure if you look through all of the statistics in there, I had staff review the statistics from year to date. And you can all see that the circulation statistics are low. But as I've been looking at them, and I will research them and some other staff, so we're double checking our numbers, but this is all really due to the renovation year, because all of the last fiscal year, one half of the library was closed at one point or another. So like one half of the library was closed. We had half, I think it was like 50 to 60% of our materials in the building, 50% off-site. So that's why the statistics are low. But ironically, this last month or two, we've had a deluge of books coming in and checked in for summer read, and staff are actually having challenges in keeping up with reshelving them. So all departments are actually helping the circulation department. So we're pretty confident that we're going to see a huge increase in circulation. But we did expect the circulation statistics to be a little bit lower because we were open for only half the year with half the books in the building. But also, similarly, if you look at the statistics for people entering the building year to date, we're only 5% down, which is, I think, really good because we were only open for half a library, yet we had the same amount of people coming into the library.
And we had those 2 closures too.
Yeah, so we had a number of closures. So it's interesting looking, and always take a grain of salt with the statistics because, material statistics are pretty standard, like check in, check out, but like patrons entering the building and things like that, programs, that take a grain of salt with that. But I was impressed with the number of people coming in the building, even though we were closed or half the building was open. Moving on to the Vega Polaris discussion, I hope you all had a chance to read. First of all quarterly reports by all the department directors. I think they were great, and then also the technical services director, Lorimer. She had an additional piece in there regarding her conference summary, and that also talked about Vega. And I think we've also scheduled some webinars for staff in this next month, where we're going to take a look at actually how it's used, what are the benefits, and we've gotten the verbal kind of spiel from the vendor, but we really want to see it used and how it would benefit us. We did budget for Vega. It's not inexpensive, so we want to make sure it really makes sense for us, but it does have some, purported benefits that we could kind of replace our calendar program with this as well. We're not 100% pleased with the calendar program we have now, so this might be an improvement. So before we expend this kind of money on something this large, we would bring it to the board, either a PowerPoint presentation or just a quick video visual of what it does. In the report, there are some libraries that are now implementing Vega. If you want to take a look at their website, I did that. Most of the libraries that use Vega, I think it's in a beta stage where you're seeing the library's website, and then they have a button that says, try this new catalog, and then you go there. And it's very much like a search engine type of interface. I'm not sure it's 100% complete for all the libraries that are using it, but something to look at if you're that curious, but we will bring you more very soon. And then in the same vein, I didn't put this in the report, but I have also been working with our IT manager, and in past I've put in board reports that I've been working with the department directors on a website redesign. So we're at the very beginning stages of coming up with a mock-up for you to see. There's many attributes we're looking for. So from all of the notes that we've taken for the past year, Micah, who is our vendor, is we're trying to make it a cleaner site, a little bit more modern looking, a little bit more white space there, a little more accessibility, less clicks to get to what you want to get to. I think we want, even though cleaner site, more modern, we still want some dynamic features. Like we want video on there, we want some rotating materials, collections, highlights, and things like that. I think everybody enjoys the slideshow that shows programs coming up. So we'll still keep some of those things. There's other things to think about, like what tabs we have on the website, like the About Us, the catalog, the programs, and then what do we eliminate. Also, demographic tabs for teens, kids, and adults. Do we still want that? How do we show that in a better way? So we're getting there. We should have something in the next month or two to show you. We've got a little sandbox. I haven't seen it yet, but it's called a sandbox to play with it. But yeah, so we're getting there. Lots to go into it. We're going for a more like lighter color tones, like light blues, light greens, pale yellows, instead of the darker greens we have now. So, and everything's changeable, but we'll have something soon for you to see. And then at the end of my report, it mentions that the library received its per capita grant. So we received $44,664.48, which I'm very happy about. And we apply for this every year, and it's because the reason we receive these is because we are meeting the standards in the Illinois Library Association's manual standards. And then all of these funds, the $44,000, go straight into our operating fund, our corporate fund. And when we apply for this, we have to name broad categories for how we expend these funds. So it's usually on materials, equipment, technology, things like that. And then lastly, I think, it's not in my report too, but I mentioned this, I believe at the last board meeting or the previous board meeting, a longtime patron, Mr. John Marshall, he passed away recently. And I've been in communication with some of the leaders in he had like a philosophy group that meets here, and they still do. And they want to make a donation to the library. And so they've been working on collecting funds for that, and they want to put those funds towards something for the library and in memoriam. So they've been thinking about things like we were talking about some books or something like that, or maybe, you know, I don't know, we came up with a lot of things, but they've put together quite a number of funds now. So it's not like we could buy this many books. We could. So I told them I would come to the board and ask if you were amenable to something like a larger planter that would be in a public area in the library, or even like, you know, we have a clock in here, but maybe a more ornate, larger clock that says something like in memoriam to John Marshall. Is that something that the board would be okay with?
Yeah.
And I'll work with the group on something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would need to be visible to the public.
Yes.
I mean, a clock, if you meant to use it here.
Well, they meet in here.
Oh, okay.
So that was mentioned.
I see.
I do want to caution, you know, because we're in a public meeting, this is being recorded, that it's per the decision-making of the board and or the library. So, you know, not just anyone in the public saying, I'm donating this to the library, you will use this. So, you know, we want to have some discretion there. So I'm working with the group closely on what would be appropriate for our new renovation or space, color-wise, and things like that. So if the board's open to it, I will share with you by email what we're coming up with, but just wanted your a consensus opinion on that.
Yeah, you might want to look at some parameters so that you have something in place for the next person that wants to donate, so that, you know, you kind of have some guidelines to look at, just so that it, you know, because you could end up with another one that wants to do something, which is wonderful, but
Yeah,
just so
there's
that
limits.
yes, right, yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
It's very nice of them.
I would encourage them to consider something other than books, because my concern is if you donate books and those books become something that's no
Out
longer
of date.
relevant, then they could be, you know, no longer of value
Right.
and no longer part of the library.
And we do that. Many people want to donate a book in memoriam for somebody who's passed, and we always let them know that there is a chance that this book will be weeded out of the collection, and 9 times out of 10 they understand that.
Okay.
And we do put like a book plate in there so that they know. But yeah, people know that when they do donate a book.
Okay.
And that's very important.
Any questions?
Just one question on the hiring process for the backfill of John's position. How many people typically interview outside hires? Yes, is it just you? I don't know. I'm only asking from a procedural perspective.
We post it internally for 5 days, and we see who bites.
Right.
And if we can't find anyone internally, then we will go outside.
Right. And then the hiring process, I mean, is it exclusively you making the hiring decision, or are there other people on staff conducting interviews as well with the person?
The department directors hired their own staff.
Okay.
Yes. In this case, because we've had many transitions in the youth services department, I am working with John on this process because
Okay.
he's new in his position and because Will is doing something different. So in this case, I am working with John. Outside of that, it's usually the department director and their assistant.
Okay, so more than one person.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's very good.
Anyone else? Thank you, Tatiana.
Sure.
Assistant Director Sandwich.
All right. So as you can see, and as Mark alluded to, I've been trying to get as much of the punch list stuff done as subcontractors get a hold of me and want to know how early they can get into the building. So a lot of stuff was done this month. The meetings that I had that I wrote down were about the department directors and I, Tatiana referenced this. We met with our rep from Innovative. He talked about Vega. He talked about a few other things that Tatiana alluded to, so I don't need to go further than that. I did go to our full membership meeting of Lisle was last week. That's our insurance collective that we're a part of. And they talked about a bunch of things. They highlighted how successful in the last year we got these water monitoring pucks because they've had a few buildings, or I should say they have had a lot of water damage claims lately. So we have a little puck that we have back in our, not in the storage room, mechanical room that if any water gets near it, it sends me a text, sends Tatiana a text that we know immediately to call and get something sorted out. And they said within the first 3 months, they already were managed to catch 3 different occurrences before stuff got bad. Not here, not here. No. In the 88 buildings that they cover as part of our group, within 3 months they had paid off. So yeah, that was really cool.
And what company is that with?
This is with Gallagher Bassett, and so
Sorry,
Lyra-
I work with them every single day. That's really fun.
and then Lyra is the library group that hires Gallagher Bassett for our insurance purposes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Lyra is our risk agency.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then, facility with those punch list items. We had shelving installed, tile work done, the final snow guard installation on the roof was put in, and then some finishing touches in the YS play area. As Mark mentioned, we're still working on a bunch of stuff, but we made some really good progress. Chicago Metro Fire came out and did our inspection in April, and then gave us the recommendations of what needed to be repaired. So I had them come out this month, and they fixed everything we needed done. So that was nice and easy. And then, Sendra, with our HVAC, we had the coils cleaned in all of our units, which sorely need to be done, particularly in our area. There's not a lot of cottonwoods directly by us, but everyone who lives here knows that there are cottonwoods, and those really gum up the works. So that was done on both the East and West End units. And as Tatiana alluded to, summer reading is going super well. I'm really excited to see where we finish up with regards to books read, minutes read, participants for this year.
Great.
What I thought was particularly cute is it shows how many babies are in the program.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Yeah, I know. I just thought that was so funny.
we've got a specific baby program, and then the kids and the teens and adults. So it tells us exactly how many are signed up for the babies program.
Okay, I read the package.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, the babies were counted now.
Babies get cards.
Yeah. Used to be, you had to be 5 to get a card. So now the baby's card.
Any questions for Will? Thank you.
Thank you, thanks
Thank
for
you,
getting
Will.
up early, Will.
Right.
Agenda item 8 is new business. 8A, adopt resolution 23-05, authorizing preparation and filing of the budget and appropriation. May I have a motion and second? And the director can provide an explanation.
I move to approve resolution 23-05, a resolution authorizing the preparation and filing of the budget and appropriation, otherwise known as the B&A.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I mentioned in the email to trustees for the board packet, before the board meeting, the B&A is our ordinance that authorizes the library to expend funds in this fiscal year. It's our legal obligation to pass this, and this just says that we're getting ready to start working on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Liz Sullivan,
Aye.
Karen Larson,
Aye.
Vanessa Berry,
Aye.
Debbie Bryan,
Aye.
Joshua Martin,
Aye.
Emily Swistek,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye. Thank you. 8B, approve the public notice of public hearing on the B&A. Motion and second.
I will move to approve the public notice of a public hearing on the Lisle Library District's B&A.
I second.
Debbie. Okay.
Yeah.
Toss up.
And this is just as it says, it's our public notice. We have to put that out there for the public so they can come. And then when we do it, in fact, pass the B&A, we'll have a hearing, which is, it'll be 15 minutes before the regular meeting. So if anyone in the public wants to say anything specific to the B&A, they can say it at the hearing. And then we'll have a regular meeting at 7 o'clock, and we'll have another public comment portion. And if someone comes to the 7 o'clock and wants to say something, then they can say it then too.
And that will be in September?
Yes.
Any other questions? Chris?
Joshua Martin,
Aye.
Debbie Bryan,
Aye.
Vanessa Berry,
Aye.
Karen Larson,
Aye.
Liz Sullivan,
Aye.
Emily Swistek,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye. Thank you. Item 9, opportunity for trustee comments. We'll start with Vice President Swistek.
Okay.
Because you usually cover everything.
I don't think not very, it's not even 7:30, this is.
I know.
Moving right along.
So new board members, don't get used to this. Just, it's still really neat to see how things are coming together, finishing up with the renovation. I've met a lot more patrons this summer with some of the summer swim team that my kids are on, and they've talked to me about, they actually saw my name tag and then were like, wait, are you a trustee of the Lisle Library? And I said, yes. And then they started talking to me about it and how much they like it, and like they like the renovation and, spending time here and everything. So that's great. And pretty much every time I've been in here bringing Liam to volunteer, there's been a lot of, patrons in there and kids coming up to the desk and to claim their rewards and everything, which is really exciting to see also. So I'm just, pleased with that. And then really enjoyed reading the quarterly reports. It seems like it goes by, I know I'm taking Liz's thing, but it seems like it goes by so quickly that we get the quarterly reports again. It's just nice to read all that. And to see what they had to say, and John doing his first one was nice to read too. Congratulations to John again about getting the youth services director position. Look forward to hearing who gets the assistant director position once you complete the interview process and all of that. And if it is an internal candidate, then you'll have to fill that person's position too, right? It's kind of like a domino effect with Will moving up. So anyway, and thank you, Will, for all the work you've been doing with the punch list and all of that. And it seems like from an outsider standpoint, it seems like you're acclimating to your new position really well. So so that's great. And that's it. That's all I got. Oh, wait, and Director Weinstein, I'm glad to see you more mobile. Okay, now I'm done.
Trustee Sullivan.
Nothing more to add.
Trustee Martin.
I just wanted to say, as purely from a parent perspective, I really appreciate what is being done at the library district for youth as it relates to the summer read program. I know that my daughter is volunteering, and I know that a number of her friends are biking all the way up from the meadows on their own to be here and willingly spending many hours hanging out in the library, which I think is a fantastic testament to the level of services, the materials, and the opportunity that they have. So that is just, it's great to see that we have an attractive environment physically and from a services perspective, that we have these incoming junior high students and groups of that age who are willingly coming to the library. I know personally when I was that age, I probably never would have darkened the door of a library voluntarily. I was there and I appreciated it, but it's nice that there is a space that they can come to that is something that they're encouraged to and that they're really willing to be in. And so that's great. Not quite directly related to that, but in an engagement theme as well. I am looking forward to, I'm particularly interested when we look at Vega and some of the other systemic catalog type of enhancements as we maybe can take some steps forward in our virtual presence and what we could do. And I've heard some things that I probably need to do a little more of my own research on both our website and what's happening with that in the future, because I do believe that we continue to have opportunities there in our virtual space. And I know that's something that I've talked about and been passionate about. So I'm looking for, as we finish, again, thank you, Will, on some of our enhancements in the physical space, that we are looking at some enhancements in the virtual space as well and can further serve the community and bring some of the people who maybe aren't as enthusiastic about the physical space into the virtual space as well.
Thank you. Trustee Larson.
I don't really have anything else to add. You guys have all covered it. Although my friend that stays with us occasionally during the summer loves the library and has a long list of books that she checks out every time she comes.
That's great.
Thank you. Trustee Bryan. I mispronounced your name earlier.
I know, don't look at it. If you don't look at it, you will get it every time. It's okay. That's all right. Well, I actually wrote a couple things down because I didn't want to forget anything. Great job on the parade. It was fun. I loved all the enthusiasm. I mean, from all the trustees to the staff being there. It was so wonderful to see the enthusiasm from all of your staff. That speaks volumes for you and Will and everybody to have such a participation on a day off. I mean, and a hot day, and I mean, really, just that just speaks volumes for the.
It's volunteer.
Well, I know, but
anybody.
Yeah, I know, but so that even speaks more. So really, that you really reflects well. So thank you, and I'm sorry I ran out of candy. Just couldn't resist.
You're generous.
I know, but the tie-in that you did on the Facebook post for the father-daughter event with the father-daughter books.
Yes.
That did not go unnoticed by the Park District people. That was just really cool. We loved that. I love the Barbie display. I came up and checked out a post the other day. I couldn't wait, and I brought it to my seniors because we loved looking at it the other day, so that was cool. Thanks to Marjorie and Jackie for taking time with me. The bills.
Thank you. I think you educated me. You've been doing a lot longer than I have.
Yeah. Well, we had it was great. It was nice to spend a little time together, and so it was just great. So and again, it was just everything. I loved reading the reports as well. So it's just there's so many great things going on, and
isn't it funny looking back 3 months and the reports are referencing the grand opening, which seems like almost a year ago.
Yeah, all of it, the Warhol, the whole thing. So
Yes.
But just great things are happening, and again, every time I'm here, I'm just amazed at any time of the day. There's people in all spots doing things, and that's just pretty cool. So, great job.
Trustee Berry?
Yeah, it was really interesting the other day because I was here with my son and he is really into D&D right now. So we're in both adult and youth services trying to find books. We found a couple. Some he had to put on hold because they were still in storage. And when he came back to get that one, he was able to find like 4 or 5 more that I think were probably pulled out of storage as a like, oh, there's interest in this. So that was really nice to see of like, oh, they're watching what people are checking out, and like more and more is coming out of storage as needed. And then for the, I wanted to say with Marjorie, I'm sorry, we never connected to get the accounting stuff. I figured it was kind of a crazy month.
Okay,
So
we'll do
next
that,
month
yeah.
or the month after.
Thank you. Well, I reiterate everyone's comments. I love July 4th. And Will, you have to keep reminding us, we pass out the candy too soon. We're so excited.
Keep pouring the syrup.
And then halfway through, he kept saying, hold back.
Marjorie, I grabbed a second bag. I went back to Will. Snuck
It's
it.
funny because I do the same thing with the Girl Scouts for the Santa Parade, where I have like a backpack with extra candy because they're always out
Alright.
halfway through. So it's like, hey,
It
here's more
happens
girls.
every year, so I feel so bad.
And I don't know, I observed a lot more residents. I thought it was much
Very well
more well
attended.
attended
It
this
was,
year.
it was, it
Which
was
is a good
great.
sign.
Very
Yes,
good
for
sign.
sure.
It was a great celebration.
It was.
Yeah.
I appreciate the quarterly reports from
Mhm.
all the department directors, very interesting. And with that, I think that's it. So,
I moved to adjourn.
Second.